Okay, cool. Well, I knew you guys would definitely ask about my effects that I have running on the board, and I just wanted to do a quick video to, if y'all guys and gals were, I don't know, bored on a Sunday, you could play with stuff. And I hope I can get this up in time, but for some reason OBS keeps recording with a delay, and I have to sync it up in Premiere, and I'm going to visit family. So anyways, we'll see how this goes real fast. Okay, so slightly different scene. We've got I left the scene this kind of the same, but I pulled a different band, and I just kind of laid. So this is maybe different layout. And so you see I got my main layer. This is a smaller band, so there's not as many inputs. So I might try to put everything on one layer. That's fine. So I got kick, snare, reverb, and then my toms and the DCA. Bunch of bass, electric, violin effects, acoustic effects, and main vocals, and then some backing vocals, but they never really sang, so whatever. And then my verbs and my delay, and then again my DCAs. And then I've got this where I've got my toms on this layer, and then I've got, the band's basically the same, and then DCAs, of course, on both. So 1-to-1 for these, outputs for these. This is just an old, I wouldn't even use it. And so this is just a fewer input band. There's only 13 inputs. So let's just get rolling. I actually did a set up some basics so it sounds decent. That's the violin by itself, and then that's the verb. And I'll play here in a second. There's the acoustic, and there's the acoustic verb. That's all of the. So there's the. Let's go and sing some. I'm looking over Reverb to see when the next thing's coming. Baptist bones, a couple rusty strings. It's kind of the same but different. Probably make this one a little shorter. Something like that. So okay, so just to kind of go over this, how this works is I've got, my first four are snare short, snare long, verb short, verb long, delays, and then, so the first three are for vocals, and then I've got a snare, so this is my snare, reverb, and then I've got a, like a plate for the, so this is acoustic verb, and then I've got a symphonic chorus, in strings mode for the violin, and those are in 5 and 6 on the mix. And I can never get the GoPro to look good. Anyways, moving on. So let's see. yeah, so I've got each of those things. Kind of some of the parameters that I'm going for the short reverb is a short decay time. And I'm going to leave the high cut a little high and bring in the low cut so that it gets rid of all the low frequencies. I don't want all that. Let me put in his vocal. So there's a lot of, mud. And this comes from the Abbey Road's reverb kind of thought process. Same thing in here. So maybe a little lower for the long reverb, but you might not like that, so that's kind of dependent. I can't wait for 1.5 where it follows the buttons. That's gonna be great. So yeah, so short. And then kind of high cut. I mean, this is all kind of, effects are all user, preference. But just showing you mine so that you can get some ideas. High frequency cut. Some verbs I typically might leave it higher so that I can get some more some air in the mix. But depends on the mix and what you're doing. These aren't super dialed in for this band. These are actually for a different band. But I just want to get things rolling and get some ideas out there for you guys. And then delay. The main thing with the delay is I'm bringing down the feedback frequency and the input filters pretty low. And the reason why is because this can get really distracting. The delay can, if you hear the high end stuff. Because I want you to like subconsciously notice that in the mix. So So if I brought that up, so that can kind of get annoying. So if you want the delay to be really present, then that might make sense. But most of the time I don't really want that. I want the delay to be like subconscious and kind of underneath everything, but I definitely want it in your face. And so the way to get it in your face, but not, I'm saying in your face, I guess it's not really in your face. I want it to be subliminal, but also easily noticeable, I guess, in that sense. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. I didn't have a script this time, so I'm just going off the cuff. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea. And then I could do, mix on that. And then the other things is the acoustic verb. Let's go to a song that has the acoustic. Well, this song has the acoustic, but just enough to, it helps widen the acoustic. It helps make it feel kind of like a 12 string almost. That's kind of what I'm going for. This is my thinking from M1 days when there was a did I never go to this shot? If I didn't, I'm sorry. Let's do that again. Okay, so I don't know if I did or didn't. Anyways, let's finish that thought real fast. So, yeah, from the M1, they had a gold delayed acoustic thing, and it just made any acoustic sound like a a wall of acoustics. It was quite awesome. So that's kind of what I'm going for. It's a plate, short pre-delay and short decay time. You know, kind of keeping it in bounds. I don't want a lot of extra stuff. Let's quickly go back through these things. So my short reverb, kind of the same thing, you know, but different engine. So it sounds a little different. This is just to add some room, but short decay time. Let's see, this one, I like a long time. I might, for this band, keep it kind of short, but for the band in my previous video, which we could go to, I really like the decay time really, really long. So it's just like big open space. That's kind of the idea. And then back here with the Stereotyped Delay, what I was talking about with these input filters, and then feedback filter. You can play with this. Typically, you want to be careful with the feedback. It could be too much, and so it feedbacks for too long. And so I want it to like typically accentuate like twice to 3 times, something like that. And you got to play with the feedback, and that kind of helps with that. I don't really use the scatter or the width. I want it kind of wide, but I don't want it to be like ping pongy, or, you know, around the room. That's to me just not fun. Acoustic verb, or the snare verb. So here's the snare verb, pre-delay, pretty long, decay time, medium. If it's like a slow song, crank this bad boy up. I want the snare to just go on forever, 80s style. This should actually be on, but it depends on if you want some like low-end reverb. Some people do. I wouldn't. Let's see. Play small. That's the acoustic verb, and then here's the symphonic chorus for the violin. So we could actually listen to that. It was kind of fun. Just add some depth.
To yourself on the way to get to where I'm going, but I ain't got time to fuss and fight with you. Fuss and fight with you.
There's so much bass already in the microphones and everything because he had his bass cranked. It's funny. I don't even need it on almost. Anyways, hope you like this. Take care. Enjoy your weekend.